you told me not this, but did you that? Oh, right. That's more than me. I've only 3 or 4 copies. And thanks for coming to my support. It's a little, it title's a little bit longer, which is something that's now keeps line that I shouldn't do, but the title of the title and talk is All Together Now, a holistic approach to narrative design to stronger games and happier teams. The first are explain who the heck I am. And so I grew up McCarthy. I started in games at QA. I first thing was in work experience at Lionhead, and the first the dog went into Radio 2, and there says early decade engine ways, some titles like Hellblade, and Senior Mobile Certificate places. Then I switched over into narrative design, so I started Splash Damage, worked on Deadball, His Tactics, NBA, and now I'm playing Tonic Games, and also NBA. So when I talk about stuff, I'm going to use examples from another day, because I can't really talk about stuff I'm doing yet. So, what's narrative? If there's any narrative designers of audience, it should probably shaking, yeah, I'm starting there. And it took this, squares, into this, all this. So there's 3 platform games there, and here there are kind of differences, but all of it, you are some kind of character jumping around, navigating your environment. And the thing that really differentiates these titles is the player perception. That is narrative design. So obviously story is a major part of narrative. A lot of narrative folks will be focusing on story. It isn't a statement again just to say narrative is story. If you hire a narrative person, you're just working on plot, you're probably wasting their time, so we won't get in most hours and if you can't afford a narrative designer. If you're just thinking, oh yeah, I'm doing a puzzle game, I don't have to think about narrative design, you're actually not delivering the best game you can be. And you're probably leaving talent off the table because you're not engaging your team fully. Narrative is a thing that allows us to suspend disbelief. Marriott isn't jumping onto blocks, it's all computer code, it's all collision, but you say no, he's a character. Mixed sounds, he reacts, there's music, sometimes a girl missing it all, sometimes it don't. But then someone gives a different vibe and a different atmosphere. And also think about player fears, player engagement, who you talking to, how they're going to get. And narrative designers, we can help whatever the genre. And it's really the blind you're getting together. It can be within the differentiates from your game or another game. Because when we talk about playing, say, Call of Duty with our friends, we don't say, oh yes, I'm really into Call of Duty. I play this one. It's like, narrative is really the blind your game altogether. It takes all different elements and makes a one-piecing experience. Because without starting to tie things together, you've got a bunch of systems, you've got a bunch of assets, you don't have a game. The game is the whole thing together and the way people respond to it. So that is everything. And who should care about you? All of you. I think it's really easy to get that mindset that you want to ship your game. Just say, okay, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this. Of course, you have to own features, you have to be responsible, you have to look after the things you know best about. But if every part of the game is narrated, every part delivers, then you'll need to be thinking about what it is you're making and who it's for and why players are doing things. So just to be sure, there was a narrative designer. Well, it can vary from studio to studio and team to team because sometimes the paths don't vary. But at the top, every narrative designer is specialistly focused on the cohesive and effectiveness of the game's narrative. So it's my job to invite myself to meetings, play the build, look and see if there are changes. Because sometimes, people with the best of intentions, either will still this team, people make changes because change is the very nature of game development, and they will change something that has a knock-on impact. Even in animation, at the end of the stage, you think, well, it's just an animation, we need to speed that up because the animation is taking too long, it's causing a bug. With I've already sent the lines off to be recorded, that's a different problem because now you might have a drastically different animation. By syncing up together, you'll prevent little problems like that. and you'll have better touches. Because you can get the other end where the circle says, oh, we want the other end, but then placeholder, because that character's having solo fade, players are hurrying through the section that we spent loads of London beautiful art for. We'll say, you go vice versa, so if you keep talking, and you'll discover problems like that. So, you will notice this is not obviously a game I've worked on, as I said, and it's not a game traditionally studied as narrative. But actually, Nintendo are masters of detail and of world-building, and they know really strong IP, so even though not every Nintendo game has a very strong sword, they actually have really strong narrative design. And I wanted to show this to you because it shows a lot of really amazing world-building on a team that actually they don't have that much dialogue, they're having cutscenes, and as indie developers, a lot of you actually take some of the tricks they use and use them yourself. Obviously, you don't all have that sweet Switch funny, but what we can do is, what they do is like every asset how, because you're going to have reference, you have to have maybe AI isn't going to be that complex, we've got mechanics, and so if you can make those things sing together, they'll be there. So, how many of you are playing Mario Odyssey? Good showing of you. So, we're going to talk about Hawaii. It's in the seaside level, and if we take kind of feelings, actually, that ambition, these are not things. You think Mario is like princess, that's a Mario thing, right? There's where you sit over the plane for a generic story, but actually, there's a lot of feeling. So, well, it's a burden scene, and that leads into our delving, because what makes ROC different from the other Mario games? Well, it's all about how Mario has a cat called Cappy who can capture things, and that's the parallel mechanic in that game. It's not that different from power-up to another games. Other Mario games has got a suit, in this game it's Cappy. And it's interesting because then you have these sort of magic hat, the action things. Your ship is a hat, which is a little bit odd, but keep very ugly. And then suddenly this travel, because what do couples leave off? They've got married, they got honeymoon. And then this comes out in other ways. So you've got, on the sea level, you've got bubbles and sea creatures. So you don't just have a platform that goes up, it's a bubble. This is all narrative. I mean, you're not on beach. Again, you're playing a video game, it's not real. But one little hangout game, you're on the beach. And by the way, so that it's not just a sea level, it's the French Riviera. And there's a lot of 1950s stuff, which I'll go into a bit later. And the plot here, very simple. Evil Optimus, the Delphine, it is trying to take over the stage. It's like this very rough, horrible diagram structure. So, as an narrative one, I might do this. The narrative structure is very simple. You start the level, shows the boss, level, like defeating the boss. In between people who challenges, it doesn't really matter about the mob, but a lot of them are single level because a lot of them like popping corks. Champagne, wedding, bubbles. You see how this builds. And the other thing they do is, once you've done the boss fight, a lot of Mario games, they have the 100% thing, right? They have based on what's in everyone can do. They have the most difficult challenges. And actually, Mario Odyssey, what in here is change the world state. Now, in a narrative game, you have quite an gene that lowers it into world state, but that to make a quest. This is a narrative-heavy game, but they have distinct world states. You have the one at the start, in your player can solo mode. You have the explore mode. Once you've got that, you can go back and get moves, so your power-ups. And then when you finish the game, you can come back, get those extra special moves, and all the world states changed. Yeah, again, all the different dialogue, and you'll find each hanging around with her travel wear. And it's a clean touch, not that much, but again, the world state is reflecting narrative is reflecting the world state. You're seeing that unity and things. But in the middle there, you start getting some indies, and you have to really judge the call on your asset, how much time you have to do this. This is the level of detail of balancing. Goodness, they're throughout the entire game, they use everywhere. They're really effective, they're kind of there to give you something to do. What they do is kind of like, they get into the car hacks. The suddenly they're staying to the level, but it's a reused asset with everywhere in the game. And another thing they did, which again as an indie you might have to think about whether it's worth doing this, but it's like is every level has hack shots, is a joinable thing that you would do, but they customize the NPCs. So that's like that boss. Now, you think, oh, he's just bad guy. But actually, you break it down, he's called the Delphine, which was a French prince, it's French Riviera. All the levels in Mario Odyssey are based around his rural locations. And so these artists, we've got quite a French general or military 18th century look. The he-hand mark in this level, yeah, that can just be a cylinder. It isn't. It is a champagne glass because it's a wedding. Every level, Mario Odyssey is also linked to a wedding item, but is it the case where, oh, it's sweating scenes, you go to this level, you collect the champagne. This level, you collect wedding gifts or whatever. It's in the theme. Technically, Mario, you don't have bespoke objects, he always goes after smiles and wounds, but it's there in the theming, so even if you don't notice, your subconscious does, and when things are consistent, then it feels well. Like, even more details, we take one of the Azevsky scenes, she's got quickly styled letters, she's in vintage swimwear, she's got beret, French, you know, and snails. I mean, not everything is subtle, but it's there, it's in theming, and that is something that any player can get. And Nintendo have a tricky challenge because they have kids who cannot read, right up to grandmas, all sorts of different people playing their games, and they have to strike all. And so what they do, is a lot of the time, is not verbal. So, why am I talking about Mario, which is, you know, a very expensive thing, and a lot that you hear are maybe working your other things, you may be looking to get into the industry. Well, actually, I just want to use it as an example because a lot of things there, they may not either have a narrative designer, but it's all narrative design, it's all world building. So someone had to coordinate the level design, the game design, the system design, the character design, the environment design, the music, the UIs or travel things. Every single level in the game is based on a different country. And so narrative design is holistic. This is a game that has barely any dialogue, barely any cutscenes, and yet you can say, I played this level, this was bubbly, or I played the dinosaur level, or there was a musical level, New Dog City. I think there's another very short one, which is based in New York, but it's also about the history of Mario. And so all these disciplines are working together. How do you achieve that in your project? First is set clear goals. Make sure you have game pillars. We may have an idea for a game that you want to work on, but if you don't have clear statements saying, why I want to achieve this, I want to do this, because of this, it's easy to get lost. Well, pillars can change as you iterate. I think if you don't have a guidance star from the team, in a very small team, it's really easy to get lost. And if you have something, you can test your game against. You keep it sharp, you keep every asset, every part of the game, every system doing more than one thing. Once you have those big goals, if you have a bit of become it by discipline, I'd break it down by discipline. So if I have a project called, look, we want to make the best farming game ever in the world, right? And we want to have a 1970s cyberpunk farming game. Right? We want to do that, but we want to be different. We want to say something about, I don't know, resource scarcity with the post-apocalyptic times, whatever. And maybe we want to really broke down the mechanics in that farming game because we want to, you know, we want to have more action-based game. Okay, but they're a designer. They have to say, well, how would I achieve that? So I'm going to break that down to narrative designs. But it's like, what kind of cyberpunk? Is this really cyberpunk? This Neon doesn't make it cyberpunk. What is that game about? That game is about resource, farming, and hunting. Is it about agriculture as hunting? Is it about being vegan? Is it about being, you know, ethics of food? You break these down. And a system design will be like, what's the most important thing here? And so they have a break like, it's the farming more important, it's the shooting more important. Most of the person would say, you're making shooting ball again. So it's really, really good to test. And then I'm going to do this feature by feature by feature. And if you do half pages, definitely use this story in the goal. They're really, really great ways to test your designs. And you can test them by people who are different to yourself, because that's really, really important. You can say, does this feature convey the theme? Does it convey the message? So you can also make sure every part of the game also reflects different kind of people with different experiences to yourself. If you don't know the question, that probably ties into some other research. And that's not only the narrative design, there's all parts of the game, but if not as a narrative designer and researching and checking for that, you should be. If your team's too small to have down inside, you need to think about a really higher one, or someone on your team needs to do that research, because you don't want a situation where you build everything around certain things and then you find out we've got some people on the really far out price. Feedback's really, really important. Give your whole team a chance to comment. I think it's really easy to say, oh, I'm a commenter, I should be commenting on this. But if you spot something, it's really important to say. Some of those insightful things that my co-workers said are actually people from outside my discipline. By involving them, it's not a case of me going, this is a story, you must do this. It's a co-worker, I'm a designer, I'm working with them. Keep communicating. The worst problem ever is ever usually miscommunication, mishandling, and people not saying they need help when they need it, but super important. And if I want to have like deep 1950s beach print trivia or themed game, then I can't be sitting there proving every asset to every artist saying, that's all I hear. And if we sit down and I talk and we said, hey, this is the thing you got, something the artist might say, actually, a better way to convey this is this, or you don't know the difference between art deck and art leather, which has happened, I apologize, they know now, right? Things like that. And by talking, then you can make sure we get it, and you can encourage your team to bring their whole selves, their whole lived experience. So when people talk a lot about diverse and inclusive teams, if you have a diverse and inclusive team, that means including everyone and allowing everyone to bring as much as themselves as they are comfortable doing so. And so, if you keep talking, and someone's got to bring them with your work, if they feel okay doing so, they can come to you per se and vice versa. Or they will just have great ideas, and that's great because they bring themselves and they bring their ideas and they bring their experiences naturally. And as a narrative designer, we're in a perfect position to foster that. And then the test. This is the same for every type of design. Just keep priority it early on. Does it meet our pillars? Does it meet every value? Is this working? Later on, make sure you do weight tests, you play tests for people, so what should in. And then if it doesn't work, don't ignore it. So I think the worst thing you can do is like, I think I'll be fine. I think it's Stein and although personally will always do what. But the worst thing is when something goes wrong and you knew it would, or if something's gone wrong before. And at the end, if things aren't really working, go back to your own goals. I certainly find in writing that my premise at the start changes a lot the more I find out about a subject. So you don't want to drift too far from have project drift or scope drift, but if things are really not working, your key is to be honest or saying to yourself, this is not working. So kind of like foster this the pieces. So a lot of that, I think that's how things lie and I was the kind of busting in. So it's that how shown down that really great further hello and I want to take on today to be. But it's how having it. So I got through that sort of question this is like I'm like we do you do this and when I'm thinking the other because it's what working out it was like all for maybe you say I mean something to be serious we hear what again we station. But sure, it's a the tasting there's frustration. I think you're gonna do that thing when we work for a project. We saw in it, but I had to find a cycle like day. Yeah, and we reading, you will go like, oh no, I'll tell about you can't do it great, or kind of like what the sheer stress and if you encourage people, they'll lots of interesting things you will eat it's like little partially get Einstein was probably in the feel of the call that can be creative. And because of this me bad hit and I'm the other thing like you out about how else get good is very so you're not your team teams and slowly teams they're taking it again she don't tools make they Spain create to shut it is. And kind of why I want to share one some of the other teams what because things in there but something how short the only one they are the only one we are that before the something about the still going and either I know that's something such section like having you rest but as far as far as physically to giant type of thing listen you don't know what it is. And obviously, the short everyone can see about your master discipline. Yeah. Be like, but your discussion, I should keep beating it together. So I was always saying, hey, you're going to during this session. So I'm trying to avoid the interesting thing saying, I doesn't mean I'm going about or not chin with like Joe or and stuff. So. It's like the other things that they later it sure has official backpack. Because everything does full drop day I'm trying to film them. Okay, it's in my tag that the tools less selectively. All these things are the same, right? The things that the fact that the reverse curve is like one but yeah, that's all the saw all the things to be read. He's pulled thing, look at the day, sorry, punishments, and we open the plate of the mini learn how to say. Lucky that in the audio, why did it sick now it's out to saw. Cute.